Hi, it's Jan Johnson, and thank you so much for tuning in. I'm really glad that you did. And today what we are doing is finishing up the series on the 10 basic principles for telling the right story at the right time and telling it right. And again, this is a review basically, or a commentary on a book written by Peter Guber and an article written about the book by Martin Swilling in Forbes magazine. And you can go back through my previous videos and get the first 9 of the principles. Today we're going to cover the 10th and final. And I really appreciate being able to share this information with you. And as I've said over and over again, one of the main reasons why this is important to me as I'm conveying to you is because it validates everything that I'm telling you about as far as the importance and the necessity for you to learn how to tell your story and to tell stories and to engage people in your business if you want to make more money, or if you want to make money, or if you want to be successful. So today we cover the last principle, and this principle I'm going to share with you here in a moment. But first I'm going to give you yet another little excerpt of yet another review of the book, because I think it's really important to hear other people's points of view on this subject. And so this is someone that reviewed the book that says everybody in business shares one universal problem. To succeed, you have to persuade others to support your vision, dream, or cause. You have to deliver a clarion call that will get your listeners' attention, emotionalize your goals as theirs, and move them to act in your favor. You have to reach their hearts as well as their minds, and this is just what storytelling does. Goes on to say, so Tell to Win, that's the name of the book by Peter Guber, is the story of the importance of stories in whatever we do. Stories have the ability to touch our hearts, to make the connection between our minds and our hearts. Stories are much easier to remember than a set of data or historical facts. Therefore, we can retain, remember, and retell the stories, which is very important. Also goes on to say, storytelling is an art and you will only become successful with practice. Again, what I talk about all the time. We all grew up using and telling stories. Somewhere along the way, most of us abandoned stories for facts. We may never achieve the level of proficiency required for the entertainment business, but by studying the tips, techniques, and stories in this book, Tell to Win by Peter Guber, we can become much better at telling our own stories, creating our own stories, and paying attention to the feedback. We will become better. The better we become at telling stories, the more successful we become. This is an important skill to master, and there are lots of lessons in this book. Now, I'm going to share with you the last of the 10 principles, and then share something else with you. The last or 10th principle is to listen actively with all of your senses. And again, you can go back to all of the other principles that I've gone through, but to listen actively with all of your senses, even when you make the story a dialogue rather than a monologue. How you listen as a teller is as important to your success as the actual words you speak. So as you're telling it and you're listening to the perceived response people will have by pausing, or to the interaction that you have in the creation of the story, that's as important as the words that you're speaking. You must listen to gauge emotions, attention, and interest moment to moment. More engaged listeners will be more likely to heed your call to action. And that's something that is very, very important to learn. So I always want to tell you and remind you that you're in business to make money. And you don't really make money by talking, you make money by listening. And I've written a note here that I want to make sure that I convey, and that is really listening. But then when you're listening, you remember what you're hearing, and that gives you another story to tell. And then you can engage people by what you've learned from the stories that you've told. Now, you might be watching this video on YouTube. If you are, you can go to my blog at thejanjohnson.com, and when you get to that blog, there'll be an option where you can put in your email address, and then get a 7-day video series that I have that teaches you how to learn how to tell your story. It's free, totally created for you, takes you through a step-by-step process with little homework involved, and then of course you can go back through the many blogs that I've done regarding this very topic on the importance of learning how to tell your story, the various stories that I've told in the process of teaching you how to tell your story, and some of those I think if you've been following me you'll remember, and maybe you've repeated those. That's my hope, because it engages people. So I have really enjoyed going through this series with you, and stay tuned, because there are some things that I'll be doing to change up what I'm presenting and giving to you. And so watch for my next video, and I hope you have an awesome day. Thank you so much for tuning in, and if this video helped you, please comment and share. Again, Jan at thejanjohnson.com. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.